somehow right. That's all time. That's all time.
Derek Jeter is top 3 shortstop.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you listen to this, this is Tanks and Tuddies presented by Tubbs and Franke. As you guys can see if you're watching the YouTube, Franke is on his way back from Wisconsin, so he's only with us for a short time here, just to kind of give us his dynasty update. We got some news. He's heading back from Wisconsin, so he will not be staying for the whole show as the audio will be a little choppy. He's just on the phone. So let's get right into it and send you on your way. And we're going to have a Tubbs solo episode. Sorry about that, but we had to do it. Franke had some family stuff back home to take care of. So let's get right into it. I'll start with my team and then have you wrap it up. Lost in the first round of the playoffs yet again. I believe I went 12-1, conference champion. Lost in the first round again. Didn't have any good head coaching offers, so we're staying at Minnesota. We're running it back yet again. We didn't play much. I don't think we started a single game. Huh?
You got extended again, didn't you?
I got extended, but I did get offers. We thought that when you get extended, you don't get offers, but I did get offers. They were just shit. The best one was like Northwestern, which was a step down. So wasn't doing that. But you had a huge step up. Where are you at this year, Franke?
So finished the season on a high note. Like I said last week, just won out the rest of the season with San Diego State. Went to the bowl game, had a couple decent offers. I believe it was offers from Cal as an OC, and they had been stealing all of my prospects, all of my recruits coming in. So I thought about that, ended up turning it down. I had an offer from there was 3 other schools. One was a defensive coordinator at a bigger school, and I felt like I didn't want to be a DC. And then I got an offer to head back to the SEC. My villain role, the villain arc, is started. Richard Suckins is returning to the SEC as the head coach of Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, baby.
Mississippi State.
Oh.
Wrong Mississippi State.
Oh, I thought it was Ole Miss. Okay.
No, Mississippi State. They are all right. I am not going to lie. I debated not taking a new job at all. And I said, you know what? I have a big game in my bowl game. I don't remember who I was going up against, but they were like 10-3. I said, if I win this game, I will stay at San Diego State. I lost by about 40 points, and I said, that's it. I'm out of here. So I'm off to bigger and better things. I am turning the corner, going from the hero of saving San Diego State to a villain and taking down the rest of the SEC with me. So,
absolutely. We're hopeful to get quite a few games in this week. Sid, my girlfriend, is actually going to Nashville tomorrow for the whole weekend. So I will be on quite a bit. Hopefully I'm going to get Franke on quite a bit. Maybe we can finish the season, and hopefully I'll have a new school. Maybe one of us will win something. Who knows?
No chance. You're
Franke,
getting extended
thanks for calling
again.
in. I probably will get extended again. I don't know how. They keep giving me these 2-year contracts. I'm sick of it. But Frank, thanks for popping on, Franke. I'm going to go ahead and solo this. Hey, make sure you stay in so it can upload. Remember how that was weird when my dad came on here?
Yeah. No, I just want to.
I don't know what you got to do.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. It's great to be on here. Go Vols, go Pack, go, and Air Raid is back at Wisconsin. So
I'll be talking about that. I'm hitting all the good points. So thanks for coming on. Get home safe, and we'll see you next week back in studio.
Thanks.
Hey. All right. I just removed him. I don't know how long it'll take. Sometimes those things get weird. But yes, like he said, he's going to take it down at Mississippi State. I can't believe that he got an SEC offer going 6-7. I went 11-1, 12-1, lost in the first round, and they're keeping me there. I'm a little bit sick of it. I'm going to hit remove again. I don't know what's going on with Franke there. I don't know if you guys can even see him or if he can hear me. But he'll be gone eventually. I don't know what's happening. So let's dive into it though. There we go. Now it's just me. There we go. Locks and long shots. I had a fantastic week on the locks. As you guys know, last week I threw out 6 of them. Let's just roll through them. I'm now 40, 27, and 1 on the locks. I went 5 and 1 on my 6 picks. We had Tigers money line game 3. Sid and I went. It was awesome. They got the dub. We'll talk about the rest of the series here in a little bit. But yeah, Sid and I went. It was a lot of fun, man. We got down there pretty early. We both had the day off. And then we had a parking garage that we parked in, so we ended up just drinking in Sid's car. Went to a bar right outside the stadium. That was fun. And then our seats, we were up in right field. Great seats. I don't even remember the final score of that game. I think it was like 3-3. Did they shut them out 3-0 or 3-1? Either way, they won that game. The only loss of the week, Penn State -5 at USC. They were actually trailing this whole game. I can't believe they even came back and won. But that is a loss there. They won by 3. Texas -14.5 versus Oklahoma. They won 34-3. Absolutely blew them out. Oklahoma backup quarterback. This spread should have been 28, 29 points. Oregon +3. Read this like a book. It's in the long shots coming up. They beat Ohio State. Ohio State can't win big games. I believe Ryan Day is 1-9 against top 5 teams or top 10 teams, maybe. He's trash. He's just born on third base. He thinks everything's handed to him. He's terrible. So that was another W there. Ravens -6.5 versus the Commanders. They won that game 30-23, won by 7, real tight, but a W is a W. And then Bucks -2.5 at the Saints. This game was just points. Holy shit. 51-27 final score. Bucks on top. They were also up in this game 24-3 at one point, I think. And then the Saints came back and were up at halftime. And then the Bucks realized, oh, Spencer Rattler's a rookie QB. Let's blitz him. And that's exactly what they did. They won 51-27. So this week on the locks, I've just got one, toning it back a little bit. Vikings-Lions, under 49.5, -105. This is a very high over-under for an NFL game. The Lions, we know they can put up points. We're going to talk about that. Don't worry, we will talk about that in extent because I don't have anybody to fight back or shut me up. And our defense, yes, we lost Hutch. We'll talk about that as well. But our defense, our secondary looks great. I'm a Sam Darnold hater. I'm waiting. The time is coming. I think this game, it could be Lions, 28-14 and it goes under. Lions 35-14 and it's still under. It's just so many points. So we're taking the under there. Hopefully it's not a shootout. I think the Lions still come out on top in a shootout. But we will be riding the under there. Long shots then. I hit my long shot last week. 13, 39, and 2. We're still horrible. Still open. Scuba Cy Young plus 1,600. That's a winner. Not going to mark it till he wins it. Terrion Arnold over 2.5 picks. Still doesn't have one. I'm hoping he gets one soon. What are we in? We're in week. Lions are 4-1. So we're in week 6 because we had the bye. Is it week 7? Okay, so they're in week 7. So yeah, you got to have one soon. Got to have it soon. Last week, Oregon Moneyline versus Ohio State. They won 32-31. That game was awesome. This week, I've got a weird one. Thursday Night Football, Bo Nix, 200-plus passing yards at the Saints. This is plus 114. He's gone over 200 yards 4 out of his 6 starts. It's been close, 206, 215, and I think he had 240. But he's also gone way under this line as well. He had 60 and 130 at one point. So I'm just hoping there's 2 scenarios here. It's a shootout and he goes for over 200, or they're behind pretty much the whole game and pass quite a bit. So that therefore he'd throw for 200 yards. So that's what we're hoping there. I think it's a nice little juicy long shot though. We'll take that. And then Austin's locks, still open. He's 48, 34, and 1, by the way. Still open Packers to make the Yoffs at -155. Looking pretty good right now. Last week he had the Jags Bears unders in London, under 44.5. Did not hit. That was a loss. Texas, Oklahoma over 49.5. That was also a loss. Texas did their part. Oklahoma did not. And then he had the Massey Witt hit parlay on Wednesday. That did hit at -124. So 1 and 2 on his locks last week. This week, I'm going to be honest, he sent me his locks and long shots, and I hated every single one of them. I think he goes 1 and 4. I need to remember that. I think he will. We'll see next week. Clemson -21 versus Virginia. I think this is maybe the only one that hits. Packers, Texans over 47.5. Don't hate that, but that's a high line. And then Tennessee +3. I don't even know why I'm wearing these headphones. I'm not even talking to anybody, but I guess we'll leave it for now. I don't know. Tennessee +3 versus Bama. This is a pure heart pick. He's driving home. He looked real quick. Bama has looked terrible the last 2 weeks, so this is a bounce back game for Bama. It is in Tennessee, so that's an advantage, I guess, but I think Bama wins this game by 7-10. Long shots then. Last week, Jags money line that lost. Jets money line that also lost. Texans money line, or Texas money line, Tennessee money line, Boise minus 20.5 at plus 150. That hit. So we went 1 and 2 on the long shots as well. This week is long shots. He took Tennessee money line versus Bama and Wisconsin minus 13.5 at Northwestern. I think those are both losers. I think Wisconsin's coming off one of their best offensive performances yet, and they always struggle at Northwestern. I don't think that's a good pick. Tennessee, I think they lose, like I said. I hope I'm wrong. I like to see my boys do well. I'm not a hater, just giving my opinion. So let's roll over to the Tubbs pick tracker. We had a terrible week last week. Overall, we are now 230, 219, and 4. Last week, we went 22 and 30. When I was filling out this spreadsheet on Sunday, it felt like I would go 8 picks in a row were losses, and then I'd have 3 wins, and then 5 more losses. And then at one point, I rattled off 11 straight wins, but it didn't catch up. I just was bad. Worst pick, I'd say Georgia minus 34 or just 34 versus Mississippi State. They won that game by 10. I should have known that's way too many points for an SEC game. What was I thinking? However, my best pick, Wisconsin plus 2. They were underdogs. They won 42-7. Their offense is firing. The air raid is currently working. Franke's not wrong with that. But as you know, their quarterback, Braden Locke, is very wishy-washy. This week, I don't remember what I had Tuesday night. It's also tough, man, picking Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. Like, I don't know these teams. I just don't know these teams. I need Maction to start. Maction, I can get dirty with it. Franke had me fill in for his 50 days of football picks. I went 2-0 in the NFL game on Monday night, the Jets game, by halftime, by the way, hit both by halftime. But then Tuesday night, I went 1-1 with a split. I had a quarterback to throw for 250 yards. He's hit it in 5 out of 6 games. And then he throws for 225 in a game that went to overtime. How am I supposed to predict that? I don't know Louisiana Tech. I don't know New Mexico. I don't know any of these teams. So I don't know how he does it. He's down. I had him up 2 units on Monday, and then last night I lost 0.04 units. So pretty stellar stuff by me. Let's see if he can keep it rolling. I don't know if I'm supposed to do him for him today. I should ask. I also forgot to mention we're recording a day late because Tuesday night I hung out with my girlfriend since she is leaving tomorrow. She has to pack tonight and all those things. We usually hang out on Wednesdays. So it worked out well that, maybe Franke's back and we can record. He's not, so that's why we're doing the solo. MLB then, I'm dreading this. My Tigers fell in 5 to the Guardians. Game 3 was Wednesday. Sid and I went. It was a great game. They won. And then Thursday, they went out there. They had a lead. They were looking good, putting up some runs. And then in the 7th inning, was it Lane Thomas? I think it was Lane Thomas hit a 2-run bomb in the top of the 7th. And we just couldn't get it back. I think that they in the 8th inning, they got an insurance run to go up 5-3, or that was at the 9th. Top of the 9th, they had a suicide squeeze. It worked. And then the bottom of the 9th, we got another run off of Class A, make it 5-4, and then we just couldn't get through. And then Saturday, Skubal on the mound. Honestly, to be honest with you, his confidence was high. Skubal, Cy Young pitching. He looked great. He gave up a run early on. I don't remember how he gave up a run early. No, it was that same inning. It wasn't early. It was like the 5th inning. He gave up a run. He hit Ramirez to walk in a run. And then very next batter hit a grand slam to go up 5-2. We were up 1-0 at that point. Gave up a grand slam to go to 5-1. And then the Tigers kind of clawed back a little bit. I mean, it was 5-3. They were scoring. Offense was looking good. And then the bullpen just didn't look the way it has. The magic ran out, to be honest. I was pretty depressed, to be honest with you guys. I have never experienced a run like that in any sport where we were dead all year. I always dreaded talking MLB on this show. And then they go on this miracle run of hottest team in baseball since the All-Star break, hottest team in baseball since Javi went to the IL. And then they sweep the Astros in Houston in the wild card, and then they go up 2-1 in the DS. Like I was thinking World Series. I'm not going to lie to you guys. So when they lost that game, pretty depressed. Took me a couple days to get over it. Sid was over on Saturday to watch with me, so I had to get over it pretty quick because I'm not trying to be this depressed shell with my girlfriend. She might argue differently. She did see a side of me she hasn't seen yet, and that is me when my team is competing in the playoffs. Pretty animated, pretty loud, pretty bitchy. It was a good time, man. What a great run. They've got some things to change, but this could mean there's more MLB talk next year with me actually getting involved because I'm hooked, man. That was I texted the boys in the group chat. I'm like, I've never experienced like any sort of thing like this for baseball ever. When the Tigers made the World Series in 2012, I wasn't really into it as much, but this run was just magical. Postseason baseball, there's no rush like it. Just the heart race, and you guys saw it on the podcast that one time we recorded while they were playing. So. Good times. It was a great season. Nothing to be ashamed of. Just sign the shit out of Scooble, whatever he wants. Give him the key to the city. I don't care. And then go get some hitters. We need some hitters, man. Because Vierling, I believe it was, I think it was 4 for like 40 or something with runners in scoring position in the DS. Like that is just terrible. So get some hitters, man. And this could be a really good team. I mean, we're young, but it's time to take that next step. As for the other series, the Yankees kind of controlled the Royals. That I didn't see much of that series. So it's Yankees versus Guardians in the ALCS. Yanks are currently up 2-0. That looks like it's going to be a boring series, but it is going back to Cleveland now. Maybe it'll be a little different. But my prediction of Yankees-Dodgers World Series is looking pretty good. The Dodgers did advance to the CS over the Padres. That was a fun series. Some bad blood there. Always love bad blood. And then the Mets took down the Phillies, surprisingly. I thought the Mets were going to die as well. But so now we're looking at Franke's worst nightmare of Mets-Yankees. And then also Dodgers-Yankees is his nightmare. So I think he's rooting for Guardians-Mets maybe. I'm rooting for Yankees-Dodgers because I called it at the beginning of the season when we did our MLB preview. I said Yankees over the Dodgers. I don't know if I said games. I might have to check on that. That'd be impressive. Honestly, an all-time prediction year by me. I had the AL Cy Young. I had the NL MVP. Did I have the AL? I think I had both MVPs and the Cy Young. I missed on the Rookie of the Years, but my World Series prediction is still alive. We're in the CS. So Dodgers-Mets is currently 1-1, I think. Let me check that real quick, actually. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I think they play tonight. Yep. Dodgers-Mets tonight. They're back in New York. It's tied up 1-1. And then tomorrow we got both series going. But, yeah, the Yankees are up 2-0 on the Guards. But the Guardians are never dead. You know, the Yankees are going to run out of pitching eventually. Their pitching's been shutting them down. They're back in Cleveland. So as long as Cleveland can move the time slot of the game to whatever benefits Matt Boyd, that also happened on Saturday. Game was supposed to be at 8 p.m. And then the Guardians said, there's inclement weather, so we're going to move it to 1 o'clock. And then it just so happened that Matt Boyd is way better pitching during the day than he is in prime time. So I don't know. There's just a little conspiracy there if you ask me. But yeah, season's over. It's done. Hopefully we get an entertaining World Series because so far the CS has been minimally exciting. So college football, we had probably some of the best matchups going into the weekend ever. And it didn't really disappoint. Some of the games did. But running through it, we started with Bama and South Carolina at noon. I had this on in the background during the Tigers game. I went with a 2 TV setup. Bama survived. This game was close. It was 27-25. Don't know if I said that yet. And South Carolina scored with 43 seconds left to be down 2. They failed the 2-point conversion, but then they recovered the onside kick, and they had a shot to win it. They threw a Hail Mary at the end. They got picked off. Bama's in shambles right now. Just not how you want to be looking when you've got Tennessee on the schedule next week, who's been okay and could be good. But I'm a Nico hater, so I don't think Bama's too worried. Is that game in Bama this week? It would have had it on Franke's locks and long shots. It's in Tennessee. So, yeah, not the spot you want to be. So that'd be an interesting one this week. Penn State USC, mentioned it earlier. This game went to overtime. Let me pull up. Where the hell is it? Penn State. There it is. USC, man, they just don't like holding on to lead. So they're up 20-6 at halftime. Penn State tied it up in the third quarter, and then USC went up 3. Penn State tied it then early in the fourth. USC took a lead with 5 to go. And then Penn State tied it up with 2.5 to go. And Penn State wins it in overtime with a field goal. Just USC just can't hold on to leads. It doesn't matter when they have it. Also, they like to come back from leads as well. Look at Michigan. Look at the Wisconsin game. They came back in the second half. They're a second half team against bad teams, Michigan and Wisconsin, and against good teams, they're a first half team that blows it in the second. So something to watch there. Illinois-Purdue was also a lot of fun. I had that game on. I thought this game was going to be – I had the over on my spreadsheet, so shout out to me. It finished 50-49 in overtime. But when you hear those teams, you don't think overtime thriller, right? I believe Illinois went for 2. No. Sorry, I just hit the mic. Illinois scored first in overtime to go up 50-43. Purdue scored and then said, we're going to go for 2 and win it. They got stopped, 50-49 final score. Tennessee survived Florida. This game was way closer than it should have been. What was Tennessee's spread in this game? They won 23-17 in overtime. They were 14-point favorites, and Florida was up 10-0 in the third quarter. Tennessee didn't score until 2.5 left in the third. They ended up tying it up, though, in the third. They took the lead in the fourth, and then Florida scored with 30 seconds left on a 30-yard touchdown to send it to overtime. And then in overtime, did they get stopped and miss the field goal? I want to say they missed the field goal in overtime. Either way, Tennessee survived, and I think it might have been a little bit of a look ahead. Like, we got Bama next weekend. Florida's easy, and that's what happens when you got a look ahead game. I got to think of that when it comes to, like, throwing out picks, because every time Michigan did it constantly on their run the last 3 years, where you got a big game the next week, and you're going to look like shit the week before. The one that comes to mind is Illinois 2 years ago, when they won by 1 at home the week before Ohio State. Like, that's just what happens. You look ahead, you're very focused on that big opponent, and then you drop them. So can't not talk about Wisconsin. They played Rutgers, who was looking like a maybe good team this year. And then Wisconsin went into Rutgers and just trampled them. I mean, I'm talking like cock down your throat, not letting you breathe, beat the brakes off of you. Final score was 42-7 Wisconsin. They controlled this game from the start. They scored 5 minutes into the game, 7-0, and then just score. Rutgers finally got on the ball with a 13-yard run in the fourth, but Wisconsin pretty much had backups in. No, Braden Locke played the whole game. Wow, they never put backups in, really? Did Braden Locke have any? Yeah, wow. So Braden Locke, 20 for 28, 240 yards and a touchdown, 1 pick. The pick was early, I believe. It was a bad throw. But Wisconsin looks good. I was shocked they didn't get ranked this week. I think they should be ranked. I think Wisconsin should be ranked over Michigan. I mean, you look at their losses. They lost to Bama, and then the week after they played Bama, they had to play ranked USC at the time. And that's just tough coming off a game against Bama where they beat the shit out of you in your house. So shout out to Wisconsin, though. They look good. Might have to hop on the bandwagon because I think Michigan gets exposed this week against Illinois. Not excited for that game. I think Michigan might score 10 points. Illinois' defense looks okay. Well, no, you know what, though? They don't, though. Purdue put up 49. Purdue, by the way, they were down 24-3 at halftime. Came back. They put up 17 and 23 in the third and fourth. So Michigan's got to keep an eye on that. And then the best game of the weekend easily goes to Ohio State and Oregon. This game was at 7:30 night game. It was back and forth the whole game. How many lead changes do we have? So you had Ohio State was up 7, then Oregon scored, but they'd missed the kick. Then they went for 2 on the next one, missed it. So they took the lead early in the second. Ohio State took the lead back. Oregon took the lead back again at halftime. Then Ohio State took the lead. Then Oregon took the lead. Then Ohio State made a field goal for the league, and then Oregon made the field goal with 1:40 left to win the game 32-31. I'm probably saying a lot. I apologize. I'm not used to this talking to myself it's been probably 20 minutes of solo talk. Not used to it. I'm excited to talk about the Lions, though. There won't be a lot of ums then. But yeah, Ohio State got the ball back, drove down the field. They had no timeouts left, or they had 1 timeout left. They were at like the 30-ish yard line, just outside of field goal range. They ran one more play, and Will Howard ended up scrambling to try to get some yards for field goal range. He ran a yard or two too long, though, and slid when the clock hit 0, and they lost the game. I was hoping for Ohio State to have to kick another game-winning field goal just so they could miss that, just like the Georgia game in the New Year's Bowl there. But, yeah, Oregon hangs on. Their offense is amazing. Both defenses in this game looked trash. Ohio State's cornerbacks got absolutely torched. Dylan Gabriel passed for 341 and 2 touchdowns, only 11 incompletions. Will Howard, 326, 2 touchdowns. Like, I don't know if Michigan can upset Oregon or Ohio State, but if they do, it would be Jack Tuttle getting reps in and somehow becoming a decent quarterback because these defenses are garbage. but they do have very good offenses. So I don't know if Michigan's defense is for real. They looked like shit last week. That was the other thing. Washington played Iowa, and Iowa hung 40 on Washington. Granted, it was in Iowa, but it's just not a good look when Michigan, who I think has a better offense than Iowa, they don't now. But yeah, just kind of sad. And then my only other one, I got two more. LSU Ole Miss. This was another great game. This one was back and forth as well. Went to overtime. Where's it on my list here? Ohio State or LSU scored the game-tying touchdown with 30 seconds left. Goes to overtime. Ole Miss got a field goal. It was a 57-yard field goal in overtime. They had a 4-play negative 15-yard drive. Must have been a penalty. And then 25-yard touchdown on the first play for LSU in overtime. In Tiger Stadium as well. I saw the clip on Twitter. Very electric touchdown in overtime to win it. LSU now 5-1. Who have they played? Anybody? They lost to USC to start the year. And Ole Miss was their first real game. But they've got A&M and Bama back-to-back. So they've got a chance to prove and get in. Watch out for LSU. And then the only other game is Colorado. I got to say something about Colorado. I do not like Shadur Sanders, Deion Sanders, and Shiloh Sanders. They're all overrated. Love Travis Hunter. He's a great athlete. So good. He went out in this game, and they still kept it close and came back versus Kansas State. They were down 21-7 with 5 left in the third. Then they ended up being up 28-24 with 3 minutes left. I love Colorado for the fact that they play very entertaining football games. I will say that nice about them. I do not like Deion. I do not like how flashy they are. I don't like how it's very in your face, but they are a fun team to watch. I can't remember the end of this game too. There was a questionable no call on pass interference. I think it was ticky-tacky. The game was in Colorado, so you could have thrown the flag. But looking at their schedule, I think they're going to make a bowl this year, unlike last year. They've got Arizona this week. This week. That's a testy game. Why is it at 4? That's so weird. Then they've got Cincinnati, Texas Tech, Utah. Utah might be tough. Kansas, Oklahoma State. All winnable games. I think we could see Colorado at 9-3 making the playoff. Or not making the playoff, sorry. Making a respectable bowl game. Their conference, the problem with their conference is that BYU and Iowa State are both good. Texas Tech is above them. Kansas State, Arizona State. Kansas State has the tiebreaker. I think they have an easy schedule as well. Yeah, they've got West Virginia, Kansas. The Big 12 is kind of weak. I didn't realize Iowa State is ranked number 9. Who have they played? Nobody. All right, that's my hate team of the week. Iowa State. I hate them. Let's switch over then to the NFL, and we're gonna start. By saying, first of all, that I golfed on Sunday. It was a lot of fun. It rained on us, so that wasn't fun. But I missed the entire 1 o'clock slate. And then I went over to my buddy's house for the Lions game. Shout out to Tip. He's got an awesome setup in his garage. He's got 3 TVs, a heater, a pool table. We had beers. We had beer fridge. We had chili. It was amazing. Shout out to Tip. And yeah, the Lions got the dub, so it was a fantastic day. But with that being said, I don't have much knowledge on these games, so I'm going to fly through many of them and focus mostly on the Detroit Lions. So we'll save the Lions for when we get to the 4 o'clock slate. Let's start on Thursday. Niners over the Seahawks. This game, I watched most of it. Seahawks were never really in it. I think they kind of clawed back a little bit. The Niners were blowing them out. It was 16-3 at half. I think the Niners scored early in the third as well. Yeah. And then the Seahawks scored 14 unanswered to get down 7. They had a chance in this game. They really did. And then they just, for some reason, passed the ball a lot. And Gino threw a pick. Just classic. London game, Bears beat the Jags. The Jags are a dumpster fire. I think Doug Peterson is fired as soon as they get back from London. They stayed in London because they play again this week. Just move the Jags to London already. By the way, Paige's picks, I'll say it now before I forget it. I went undefeated in Sunday games played in the United States. Pretty impressive. 11-0 on Sunday in the games in the U.S. I missed the London game. I took the Jags, which is dumb of me. I'll never make that mistake again. Actually, I think I took them this week because they're playing the Patriots. I haven't said scores either. I just realized. Packers 34-13 over the Cardinals. Nothing to say in this game except Jordan Love is pretty good. He makes some questionable throws, but they always work out. So you kind of tell yourself, maybe they're not that questionable because they worked. 258 yards, 4 touchdowns. Did Josh Jacobs score a touchdown yet? No, he did not. Does he really not have one yet? Hold up. Let's pull up the Josh Jacobs stats. I need a drink. My mouth is so dry. Oh, he does have a rushing touchdown. Which week did he score? Apparently against the Rams he did. I wasn't aware of that. Yeah, good win for the Packers. While we're here, let's talk about the NFC North. It's the best division in football. It's insane. The Bears have beat teams that are not good. I think they're winning games. The teams have a combined record of like 4-16. So I think the Bears are fraudulent. Obviously, I've made it clear. I think the Vikings are fraudulent as well. But you got to respect point differential. The Vikings, obviously, their point differential is high. They've won every single game. But the NFC North has the top 4 highest point differentials in the league. You've got the Vikings, Lions, Bears, and Packers. Very impressive stuff. And it's going to be a problem when they start beating up on each other because the NFC North is great. The Packers are very good. Franke with a great grab on the Packers to make the playoffs. I think there's no way they miss, barring a Jordan Love injury. Even if he does get injured, look what happened. He came back 2 weeks. People were talking months. He came back in weeks. Moving on then, Colts and Titans. Don't know a thing about this game. The Colts won 2017. Good for them. Flacco looked good. Excuse me. Actually, he didn't. He threw 16 incompletions. That's about a 50% passer rating, or 50% pass completion. Yeah, I don't have anything for that game. Texas Patriots. I have something for this game. Drake May. He looked kind of good in his first game. The Texans won 41-21. Drake May can't do anything about his team not having a defense. But 20 for 33, 243 yards and 3 tutties in his first NFL game. Or first start. Impressive, man. Good for him. If Brissett started this game, they might have scored 1 touchdown. So let Drake May play. He's fun to watch. I saw a couple clips. He looked good. Bucks and Saints, I pretty much wrapped this one up in my long shots. The Bucks won 51-27. Chris Godwin does not get enough credit for being great. I think because he's not really overshadowed by Mike Evans because he's putting up better stats, but Mike Evans is the bigger name because he's done it for longer. But Godwin's one of those guys that I forget about because he's been in the league so long and he just does his thing. He's got a Super Bowl with Brady, but he deserves some respect. I mean, 11 catches for 125 and 2 tutters. That's very good stats. Browns and Eagles. Eagles win 20-16. This game is sounds a lot closer than it was. The Browns got a lucky field goal block at the end of the half to return it for a touchdown. And then they tied it up in the 4th. But the Eagles said, okay, enough of that, 20-13 in the 4th. And then they gave up. Browns kicked a sad field goal, it looks like, with 3:54 left. A podcast that I listened to made a very good point, and they think that the Browns are starting Deshaun to punish Deshaun for all of his sins since police forces don't do anything about it. That's a very good point. Just throw him out there every Sunday, let him embarrass himself. Let's talk about his stat line real quick. 16 for 23 for 168 yards. And that's with Amari Cooper on your team. And Jerry Jeudy, who's a very serviceable wide receiver. Like, Deshaun is just bad. And people always blame their line. I think people are more blaming Watson now. But at first it was, the line's so bad he can't do anything. No, good quarterbacks know how to get around that. Matt Stafford played with a shitty line his whole career and made work with the Lions. Like, it's Deshaun Watson is trash. He's washed. Ravens Commanders, I hit that in locks. Ravens won 30-23. And that brings us to the 4:00 slate. The Detroit Lions absolutely shit all over the Dallas Cowboys. 47-9 final score. And this was a fuck you NFL game. This was Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, Jared Goff, the whole offensive line just going, fuck you, NFL. That's all it was. I mean, this game was over. I'd say it was over at the start of the second. The Lions drove down the field. They had a pick. They were up 17-3 with 11 minutes to go in the second, and they just did what they wanted. I believe they had 9 scoring drives, and the Cowboys scored 9 points. Late in the game, though, let's start with that. Hutchinson was on the field. I believe it was a 37-9 game, maybe right before the 4th quarter. Hutch got in there for the sack, wrapped up Dak. It was kind of one of those weird ones where he's kind of trying to wrap, but his momentum is taking him, and his leg swung into Aleem McNeil's leg, and Hutch's leg just literally snapped. You could see it on the broadcast. It was very scary. He's done for the year. They said it was a clean break, which is good, but he would only be able to come back if we made the Super Bowl, and then even then, if we made the Super Bowl without him, why rush him? This is a career-altering injury for Hutchinson. It was literally the worst thing to come out of this game. Like, this game would have been the best game ever. make it up for last year. I'll talk about what the Lions were doing in a minute. But the fact that his career is now altered, and we were looking at having a serviceable pass rusher for 6-7 years minimum. But luckily it was a clean break, I guess. He had surgery right away. His family also said he had a worse injury in college that he was able to come back from. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that he can come back. He's obviously one of my favorite players. I love the guy, Michigan man, but just a fluke bullshit injury. And then people are going at Campbell about why were your starters in there, blah, blah, blah. Campbell wanted to make a statement to the NFL. I get it. It's the NFL. We don't really bench guys, but after that, you saw some starters come out. Just super unfortunate, but let's focus on the good. Prayers up for Hutch. Hopefully we'll go get a pass rusher. I've seen a lot of names thrown out there. I don't think we get Max Crosby. I don't think we get Trey Hendrickson. I think you're more like, I saw we inquired on Hassan Reddick, which I'm going to say it right now. I don't like it. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't want a guy that's been sitting out because he wants money, because now we got to give him money. But I also don't want to just run with, this practice squad guy that we signed. I'd rather have somebody. There's a lot of names being thrown out there. Hopefully we realize this is the window. We went to the NFC Championship last year and our offense got better. Our secondary got better. I'm going to say it. This is where I get to gloat now. I got the sad shit out of the way. I get to gloat now. The Lions have the best offense in the NFL. I'm going to say it, in the NFL. They score when they want. They run the plays they want. We ran another trick play that worked. It was a triple reverse back to Goff, over the top to Laporta, touchdown. Montgomery just runs with authority, and then you throw Gibbs in there for some fresh legs. They just do whatever the fuck they want, and it is the most pleasurable experience ever, watching that team just go, and score and score and score. I don't know how we lost to the Bucs. I really don't. I'm going to blame it on rust because our starters didn't play in the preseason. But then you got, you can lock down Amon-Ra. He didn't really put up the crazy stats today. He did score to save me in fantasy. That's great. But then you got J-Mo just running loose. He was wide open over the top. There was a video of Trayvon Diggs literally saying, I can't keep up. And then we locked down CeeDee Lamb. I'm going to say it. We locked down CeeDee Lamb. 7 catches for 89 yards. That's nothing. He went for 240 and a touchdown last year. Shut him down. It's just everything is Detroit right now. Our defense looked phenomenal. Even after the Hutch injury, they were getting after Dak, getting sacks. Who else can I gloat about? Oh, yeah, that's right. The big fuck you to the NFL was late in the game. They ran Sewell reported as eligible, and then they ran the hook and ladder with Sewell, and he scored, but there was an ineligible man downfield. Saw the tape. It was a legit penalty. That's okay. And then really late in the game, Skipper lined up at wide receiver. He's just the most clear and obvious fuck you. We won that game last year. I love this fucking team. I want them to get it done so bad this year. It just feels like it's right, man. I mean, we are winning at will. We got the loss out of the way early, so there's no pressure of an undefeated season. Maybe that was the plan. We just got to fill Hutch's spot or find a way around it. But our DBs, man, Carlton Davis, Terrion Arnold just playing great. I don't think Terrion Arnold got flagged in this game. Do they show that on the box score? Let's see. Detroit defense, here we go. They don't show. Ooh, no. Shit. You know what? Take Rodriguez and put him at DN. Why not? I would. Terrion Arnold had 1 pass breakup. It doesn't show flags. Whatever. I there's not much else to say other than this team is so fun. I would venture to also say that this is the new America's team. Everybody loves the Lions. It's on every talk show. It's no longer, are the Lions legit? It's look how good the Lions are. I mean, 492 total yards to Dallas' 250. No turnovers. Dallas had 5 turnovers. I know Dak threw 2 picks. They had 2. They had the fumble. Must have been a late one I missed because I ended up leaving my buddies early so I could get home. But, Kirby Joseph with a big pick in the end zone off of Cooper Rush. Brian Branch had a sweet pick on Dak. He bit on the drag route, and it was I don't want to say bit. He faked out, I'm going to the drag route to leave the fade open. Then he dropped back and just right in the bucket. Prevented points there. And then I think Branch punched one out later that Arnold recovered. That was awesome. And then, or was it Carlton Davis that recovered it or punched it out? I don't know. Either way, we're getting turnovers. That's the other thing about the Packers I forgot to mention. If you're still listening, Packers fans, your defense is great. You guys have 17 turnovers this year, and I believe you had 19 all of last year. That's very impressive. But yeah, I'm so ready for this game this weekend. Lions and Vikings. Lions are underdogs, which I love. Keep hating. It is in Minnesota, so I get that. I can't wait. I can't wait for this game. Minnesota's got a great defense. Their run game's very good. Justin Jefferson, obviously, that's the real test. If we shut down Justin Jefferson and CD in back-to-back weeks, watch out. Watch out. Lions just got to wear the black uniforms more. They look great. And yeah, hopefully we keep rolling, man. This team. I mean, it's been a long time since I watched a Lions game and it was like over in the second quarter. I was just sitting back and having fun. You know what I mean? It was good times. Flying through the rest of these. Chargers beat the Broncos 23-16. Steelers over the Raiders 32-13. I don't get why Russ is starting this week. Why do you bench Justin Fields when you're 4-2? It makes no sense. He's winning games. Falcons over the Panthers, no worries there, 38-20. Bengals over the Giants in a snooze fest on Sunday night, 17-7. I don't know if the Bengals are in trouble. I mean, their defense, I guess, looked good, but it's the Giants. But how do you only put up 17 on the Giants? And then Monday night, Bills over the Jets, 23-20. That was a better game. Fell asleep, though. But, yeah, a couple of some trade news quick. Devontae Adams did get traded to the Jets. Very excited. I have Devontae in fantasy, so I hope that works out. I'm trying to trade him, but the guy I'm trying to trade to will not respond. Franke, if you're listening, tell your brother to fucking text back or do something. I countered his trade. And then Amari Cooper got traded to the Bills. That's huge. I think that ruins the Keon Coleman stock if you're stashing him in fantasy, but this is huge for Amari Cooper owners because you go from Deshaun Watson to Josh Allen, who is just a freak of nature. So very fun things to watch there. Hopefully we have some more trade news next week with the Lions acquiring a pass rusher. Wouldn't hate Hassan Reddick. Wouldn't hate Chase Young. The only thing I would hate is we're going to run with what we got. I'd hate that. You got to fill those shoes. Hutch is too good to not replace. I saw Trayvon Walker too, which is funny. He was the first overall pick, and then we got Hutch. Imagine those two lined up, first and second overall picks. Kind of cool, but won't happen. Anyways, Paige's picks then. Let me pull up my note sheet here. Last week, me and Frankie did very well. Paige went 8-6, which is good. It was a big week for the favorites. I think that's why we all did so well. I won 11-3 as well as Frankie at 11-3. Our records, Frankie's firm in the lead, still 58-34. I'm right there at 51-41. I just need a big week and Frankie to have a bad week. It's not going to happen this week. We had a couple of similar picks. Paige fighting to get to 500 at 43-49. I'm not really going to talk about these games much. I'm just going to rattle off the picks because I am getting bored. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm getting bored. It's been 42 and a half minutes talking to myself. I feel like a psychopath kind of. My sister's home right now. I can't even imagine what she's thinking, hearing me just jib, jab, jab, jab on my own. So Broncos at the Saints on Thursday Night Football. This game is gross. It'll be boring. Paige and Austin both on the Saints. I'm riding with the Broncos. I think they're favorites in that game too. Spencer Rattler he looked good in the first half, but not when they got pressure on him. And the Broncos defense is very good. So if Surtain plays, I think the Saints get goose-egged. London, Patriots at the Jags. We're all on the Jags. Titans at the Bills. We're all on the Bills. That's an easy one. Eagles at the Giants. Another easy one, in my opinion. We're all taking the Eagles. And then Lions at the Vikings. This is where we have some disagreements. Paige is taking the Vikings, which is really a shot to the heart. I hate that pick. I take offense to it. It's the same thing as last year where she would pick against the Lions all the time. They kept winning, so I guess I don't hate it. Who'd she take last week? She take the Lions last week or the Cowboys? Cowboys are her team, so she probably took the boys. Yeah, Paige, when are you going to learn? When are you going to learn that the Lions win football games? That's 2 weeks in a row now you're going to lose because the Lions are not losing to the Vikings. Frankie, he knows. He knows ball. We're both on the Lions. Seahawks at the Falcons. We're all on the Falcons. This game's a little interesting. I think the Seahawks are flying a little under the radar, pun intended, since they're a Seahawk, but I think they can win some of these games where it's like, oh, the Falcons should win that, but it's only a 3-point spread, so I guess it's not that shocking. Then you got the Bengals at the Browns. We're all on the Bengals. Clearly, the Browns are going to win one game. They already won it. Or do they have 2 wins? How many wins do the Browns got? 1 win. Yeah, they're going 1 in, what would it be, 16 now. Dolphins at the Colts. We're all on the Colts. Dolphins are in trouble until they get Tua back. Which, is he alive? Anybody checked on Tua? Haven't seen him on the sidelines. Is he alive, or are we trying to find the replica? I don't know what's going on there. Texans at the Packers. Paige is taking the Texans as well. I guess she just really does not want to ride with her boys' teams. I don't know, especially her boy, Franke. That's his team. I get, not taking the Lions, whatever, but you got to take the Packers, I feel like, every week, but I guess not. Austin says Packers, probably team total over. I like that pick. I don't think there's going to be a lot of defense in this one, but it's just a high total. It's a high total. I don't know. I'm on the Packers as well. Panthers at the Commanders. We all agree the Commanders. Panthers are a dumpster fire of an organization. Raiders at the Rams. This is where we have some disagreement. Paige is taking the Raiders, the underdog. I'm on the Raiders as well, taking the underdog in this one. It's just like the Jets last week. I was wrong, but I said it's one of those, you lose your star player. You finally got the cancer out of there. Max Crosby's still fighting. Maybe he's gone by the weekend. I don't know. But I'm taking the Raiders. And then Austin's on the Rams. He'll probably be right. It's a 7-point favorite. There's a reason they're favored by 7. However, we know this. 7-point dogs have been very good this year. Take the Raiders. Chiefs at the Niners. Paige and Austin on the Chiefs. I'm taking the Niners. I'm a Chiefs hater. You guys know this. I think they lose. Jets at the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. Franke finally gets his wish. The Russ Prove-It game. He's taking the Steelers. Paige is also on the Steelers. This is one where I didn't hate the Steelers. However, I hate Russell Wilson. Give me the Jets. Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers reunited. Devontae Adams, 100-plus yards and a touchdown, and the Jets win big. They didn't look bad last week. That's the thing. They missed kicks. If they made kicks, they would have won. Ravens at the Bucks. We're all on the Ravens. That could be bad. The Bucks are a weird team. That's Monday night. We got 2 Monday night games. Chargers at the Cardinals. Paige and Austin on the Cardinals. I'm on the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh literally had to leave the game because his heart was like having an arrhythmia or something. And he came back and they won the game. That's a guy that's got heart. He's 2-0 in those games, by the way. That's the second game that's happened. Austin, the only one alive in Survivor. He's riding it out. He's taking the Bills. Bills over the Titans. Didn't he already use the Bills? No, he is not. So Austin's still going with Survivor. We'll see how long he can make it. He's taking the Bills. That is all I have. I hope you guys enjoyed me ranting to nobody, just talking to myself. Didn't really have any takes out there. Just kind of hard to get takes out when you're talking to yourself and your thoughts are just. But go Lions, go Wolverines for now. Go Red Wings. They're 1-2. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. Let's hit some tanks, adore some tutties, and we'll see you.